All right, this is Obeyed on behalf of Electronics, and in this video, we'll be talking about marginal analysis, utility, and law of diminishing marginal utility. All right, so when it comes to your marginal analysis, we've talked about opportunity cost in the past few videos. This is similar to your opportunity cost. So marginal analysis is a study or analysis of a situation or a scenario where cost of choosing little or more. Okay, so a little more or a little less of a good. Okay, so this is cost of choosing a little more, or a little less of a good, or a little less of a good. Okay, or a merchandise, okay, or a product, merchandise. So in terms of opportunity cost, we did say that, hey, listen, if you consume good A, you'll be sacrificing good B. Now, the marginal analysis goes a step further, and this is sort of like your slope, okay, where you have the change in values, okay, which means your marginal analysis has to do with the cost of choosing a little more or a little less of a good, so the opportunity cost, so to speak, okay. So this is merchandise, which is similar or same as your change analysis. So marginal analysis is also called change analysis. So this is change analysis because it has to do with change. Okay, just like slope has to do with change. Okay, in the shape of a curve, in the slope of a curve. All right, and apart from your change analysis, you also have utility. Now, utility is not your electric utility in terms of economics. Utility has to do with satisfaction. So if you consume a good or a merchandise, okay, that consumption may be based on satisfaction, based on utility. The more satisfied you are from a particular good, let's say if this is a real estate property, okay, the more of those real estate properties you will buy. Okay, the more satisfied you are with a car, okay, the more of those vehicles you will buy. Okay, so this has to do with satisfaction. Okay, so satisfaction, okay, and the more of a good one consumes, the more of a good one consumes, okay, the satisfaction goes down. Okay, the utility or satisfaction goes down. And because this satisfaction goes down, we're essentially talking about law of diminishing marginal utility. Okay, so this is law of diminishing marginal utility. Law of diminishing. Diminishing as in vanishing. Okay, something that goes away, fades away. So law of diminishing, okay, marginal utility. Okay, so as the person receives a more of a product, okay, or a good, the utility goes down. Okay, as the person receives, as the person or individual receives, as the consumer receives and consumes more of the same product, more of the same product. Okay, the satisfaction or the utility goes down. All right, so say for example, you consume a candy. Okay, and as you consume more candy, let's say one, two, three, okay, the satisfaction goes down. All right, so let's say this is candy over here. One, two, and three. You start off with three candies, and let's say this is your marginal utility or MU. Okay, and this is measured in units, for example. So over here, as you consume more candies, okay, as you consume more candies, okay, the satisfaction goes down. So marginal utility goes down. So this is sort of like your downward shift. It will be in the opposite direction. All right. So when you have okay, one candy, the satisfaction is more than when you consume three candies, for example. Okay. So when you consume one candy, when you consume your first candy, when you consume your first candy, the satisfaction is more than when you consume your last candy. Is more than when you consume your last candy. All right, so the more of a product or a merchandise you consume, the less the satisfaction. Okay, and this also has to do with law of diminishing marginal utility. So if you're looking at a curve over here, okay, this will be a U-shaped curve. Okay, you have utility that gradually is reduced, okay, to the extent that now, as you consume more of a product, okay, you have negative utility rather than positive utility. Okay, so this is your peak over here when it comes to utility. And as you consume more of the same product, you tend to dislike it. Okay, you rather prefer something else, an alternative. All right. This has to do with law of marginal utility. So that would be it for this video. On behalf of V Electronics, have yourself a great day.